just like animal farm. Justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Christian can say silence. Islamic leaders silence. Kings and queens silence. Traditional leaders silence. So who go say the truth? We are the workers of comfort call. Now by area why no better. We are the workers of comfort call. One guy's out here why no better. Who go say the truth? Who go say the truth? Oh, you need it now, see what I see so. Now your friend on a night come at them. Only papi obeka na sembia. So I want to bet you were too. Everybody was afraid. And until I learned to my cottage again, once my boy dumping one another. But who go tell the truth? Nanai or say me. Nanso bien person beka wasam because everybody is afraid. Anya safwe muayini. Akuku drofo nyina dalima. Who go say the truth? Obiaja konson so to grow your man set to me be a cacobrafo. Efo anyina ye. Efo when you know yet. Na so kutrata down na so be dia back or why no keke. I fene for be man mo pia for efo ne cross on my mo. Anya safwe mo ayini. Akuku trofo nyina dalima. Who go say the truth? Abaya di bote chino. Yedi bi bebo nyande bi. Kachi sa udi oma upipi numa. Would your mind never shine my preference? But who go tell the truth? TUC silence. Even journalists silence. So then who go say the truth? Right is right. Wrong is wrong, no matter how you justify. You say you wanna get rid of corruption. Someone want to help you, now the person become your target. Jobless, no they mean senseless. Poverty, no they mean useless. One day, then go resist.
Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to your favorite talk show this and every Monday evening live on TodayGhanaNews TV. This is your regular show as usual, MyView show, where this and every evening we'll bring you the most topical, the most important, and the most pertinent issues as they relate to politics, development, and social matters with regards to Ghana, to Africa, and to the rest of the world in general. Last week, we tried to build on our promise that this year we are going to focus more on politics in Ghana. And as we keep saying, the reason for this is because this year is a monumental year in Ghana with regards to elections in Ghana. And so to this regard, our mission this year is to give you to arm you with as much information as possible so that when you step into the booth come December 7th, you enter the booth and make decisions based on information that is available to you. And so this is our mission for this year, and that is why we try as much as possible to bring you guests who would discuss matters that are at hand and try to give you as much information as possible so that you would be informed as December creeps nearer and closer. And as I tried to say last week, we were built to have the Deputy Communications Director of the CPP, Convention People's Party, to join us to share with us their political ideologies and what they have in stock for Ghanaians come December 2024. Unfortunately, they always say that technology is not our friend. So we're not able to have a good connection to our guest, so we could not have him online. However, we've taken a step back and to revisit something, a topic that we tried to explore a few weeks ago, but we're not able to go about it in detail. If our regular viewers and listeners can remember, a few weeks ago, we had some guests from NDC Pro Forum. And at the time, they were having a fundraising event. We hosted them. We gave them a chance to talk and to tell us a few things about the organization. However, we're not able to delve into that organization in detail and the structure of them, and to try to see what they're about and what they stand for. So we decided that this week we'll bring them back so that they can try and give us an understanding of who they are, what they do, how they do it, and if people are interested, how to become part of that that group as in general. So this week we are having somebody from Pro Forum, but not from that Pro Forum. If you remember, that last time we hosted them, they said they were quite a global organization and that they had branches all over the world. So whereas the last time we had guests from the Americas, this time we are having a guest from the UK who will be joining us to enlighten us, to educate us on what the group is, what they do, and what they are all about. So this evening, we are happy and delighted to be joined this evening by Mr. Ken Johnson. Mr. Ken Johnson is the president of NDC Pro Forum UK Ireland. Am I right? Is it UK Ireland or UK?
UK and Ireland.
UK and Ireland. Okay, wonderful. Mr. Johnson, welcome to MyView show on Today Ghana News TV.
Thank you, Albert. I think I have to say it's a pleasure to be. It's an honor for me because I haven't been here before. I've seen the wonderful work you're doing, and obviously, I thought, okay, when the time is right, we would also make a presentation. And so, for me, it is an honor, and I think I want to say good evening to your cherished viewers, wherever they are. I'm sure whatever is going to discuss this evening will be an opportunity for them to live or come more closer to the Pro Forum and become part of what we are doing to resurrect and reset Ghana.
Well, as you said, when the time is right, and indeed the time is right, the stars are aligned and the universe has spoken, and so exactly. You've joined us today. But talking about our guests, we say a very big thank you to all our guests who are joining us on various forums. We say a very big thank you to our guests on Sakina Information Center in Tatali in Northern Ghana. Also to our guests or our listeners on High FM 93.7 in Achuhima in the Eastern region. Also, we welcome our guests on the King's FM in Accra. And also, we say a warm welcome to all our guests who are joining us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, and on LinkedIn as well. So thank you very much wherever you are joining us from, and we are happy and delighted to have you. So now, back to our guest. Mr. Johnson, Before we
Yes,
say
sir.
anything, we care about your welfare. So we want to know, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing okay. Woke up this morning feeling all fresh, and it's the bank holiday here, so we are
Oh,
celebrating Workers' Day here in the UK. So obviously, most people have taken advantage of the beautiful weather today to do some barbecues or go about sightseeing. So I haven't done much really. I just did some small house chores, just to play with the kids. And I think it's been a wonderful time. So far, so good. Yeah, thank you.
and to drink some good English tea, I suppose.
Oh yes, yes, yes. People, but I like the coffee more than the tea. So,
Oh,
yeah, I'm more of a coffee person because I'm an early riser. So just get it
wonderful.
on the way. Yeah.
And yet I thought I was the only person on the coffee train. So thank you very much.
You see,
I don't feel lonely now,
no,
knowing
no,
that.
not at all, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Before we continue, I mean, we would like to build on our from our introduction. I said we had some people from a Pro Forum join us a few weeks ago. We'd like to build on that, and in order to build on that, we'll try to recap a little on probably what we think we know about Pro Forum, so that maybe if we are if we need some enlightening, you would probably try to enlighten us. So last week, no, I think a couple of weeks ago, we hosted some guests from how do you call it, Pro Forum USA and Canada,
Mhm,
and we tried to find out what Pro Forum was all about. And we were
mhm.
told that Pro Forum is made up of professionals in
Yes.
their various fields of endeavor, but of
Mhm,
course, also members of the National Democratic Congress,
mhm,
and that they are professionals who share in the ideals and ideas of the National Democratic Congress. And
mhm.
to that forum, they are an affiliate organization of the National Democratic Congress, but it's a specific group made up of professionals in this regard. Are we right? Is that are we
That
right in that?
that is absolutely the synopsis of what Program stands for. Because I mean, the first question you want to ask yourself is, who is a professional? And in most cases, people think that when you have a qualification or a certificate from something, that makes you a professional. But professionalism has been defined as people who are practicing in a specified field of endeavor with that knowledge. And therefore, the Pro Forum's existence is to bring in the pool of talent with the expertise to help us. When I say us here, the us as the NDC, to
Mm.
rebrand and also to refocus, to put in the energies of our specialization to help the government run better. And I think that when it comes to the NDC's, if you look, ethos of making governance closer to the people, or on our lens of social democracy, a lot of times we become shortened by the idea that in the past, our friends from the other side used to say they were the gentlemen, they were the people with the men. Since Pro Forum came to being, I'm not sure the last time you heard the MPP say that they have the men or they are the gentlemen. Ghanaians have seen that, right? The NDC has the catalog of, and I'm saying catalog because we have many diverse specialization or professions within that Pro Forum, and we have showcased that through our discourse with national issues, the presentation of the party, and our contribution towards any endeavor of the National Democratic Congress. So yes, what you heard the previous weeks is exactly the case, but I'm trying to put a flesh, if you like, to it, so that people can understand that anybody listening to us, either in Ghana, or in Germany, or UK, or America, or anywhere in a part of the world, who want to identify with the NDC, can also say, okay, yeah, I'm a doctor. I want to be part of the catalog of doctors with their specialization, so that we can bring out the best of policies. We can bring out the best of ideation. We can bring out the best of possible outcomes that we can situate, so we can have the government run better. We have the best of engineers from Germany, and I know that Germany produces engineers. When you're talking about the German economy, you're talking about, for instance, the SME sector. It means that we are going to have a lot of people with some special skills within the manufacturing or the enterprises sector. And that means that if we have Ghanaians who want to identify with the NDC, they want to also feel that, how can I contribute with my skill set so that the party can become better and the government of the party can also look good in terms of fostering its policies and administration. So that is what the program stands for.
Indeed, Mr. Johnson, you took the wind out of my seal when you said that it's a group of professionals, who have come together, and that talked about mentioned a few. Now, the thing is, when we talk about professionals, and just as you yourself said, where do we draw the line? I mean, I'm sure that everybody would call themselves professionals at some point. So if there are people who are listening and they start wondering, maybe I am a teacher, I am a doctor, I am an engineer, or what do we pin it down to when we say professional that would make me qualify to join a Pro-Forum?
Well, it will interest you to know that we have nurses who are officially members of the Pro-Forum. We have that category of the professionals in the health and allied sector. So we have professionals from education, teachers, lecturers, and people who work as school administrators. And we also have people from industry, engineers, architects, and what have you. So we have sort of created that portal where, when you join the Pro-Forum, first of all, you have to believe in the ethos of the Pro-Forum, or the ideals of the Pro-Forum, which is to foster professionalism and also enhance and leverage for which development can be achieved. And if we want to do that, it means that it doesn't matter whether I am an engineer from United Kingdom and you're an engineer from UK, from Germany, and we are in Pro-Forum, and the matter has come for discussion. We should be able to bring the best of our experiences together so that we can create that policy or that plan to help the government or the party execute. Now, we can put these things into practice. Look at the 24-hour economy. People thought that it just came out of the wind. No, it's a policy development. And with that announcement that was made by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, when he becomes the president, he's going to execute it. That policy has gone through many phases, and the Pro-Forum has played part in that. When it comes to the issues of ensuring that we can move Ghana beyond the levels of the decadence that we are seeing, we have to think about industrialization. And if you look at the 24-hour economy, you could see that there's an industrial part in it, which is a centerpiece of the whole ecosystem of that policy. Now, move that, we are looking at how we can also make sure that our health sectors can actually actualize, I want to use those two words together, actually actualize that 24-hourness of delivering quality healthcare. And so will education be. But you need people who have signed up to a professional ethics, people not only with a certificate, but people who have experienced it or worked in industry. You could be working in education. It's an industrial sector, isn't it? Because we can talk about the education sector. People who say they are engineers, but you have worked, not just people who were living abroad doing all sorts, and they had opportunity, went home and said, we are the men. That has been the case. And that is why today, if I'm not jumping, you could see that a common issue such as Dumsor is a big debacle for the MPP. If Pro-Forum had not come into power, or we are not coming into existence, not in power, but in existence, you realize that back in the days, the NPP would have had some leverage to make any frivolous argument surrounding why we have done so. But today, they can't, because we have people from the power sector who are members of the program helping the party to take decisions and also to make the case that it is incompetence vis-a-vis ineptitude, vis-a-vis mismanagement that is causing do so to happen.
Well, I'm sure you've covered this in some areas as you've responded to my previous question. But I mean, the question that most people ask is, of course, to the extent that a party exists, people know that there are all manner of people within the party, including professionals in various fields. So is it really necessary to carve out a particular group and call it a group of professionals forum? Is it really necessary, or is it necessary to have that, or it would have been it would have been good to have lumped everybody in the same grouping as in your party?
Yeah, I think it is more than necessary. Now, let me give you an example. If you would, I don't know about I think you live in Germany, so I'll use the SPD as a labor front from our cities.
No wonder you are using SPD, because you are a socialist party yourself.
Exactly. So I'll use that, and I assume that the SPD, CDU, CSU party, when you go to these political parties, in more advanced democracies, political parties have segmentations and they have recognized affiliations. Proforum is affiliated to the NDC. So one of the key things that for you to join the Proforum, you must believe in the beliefs of the NDC or the ethos of the ideals of the NDC. That's the first criteria. And the second thing is you must also be a professional practicing. You see, not just somebody with a certificate, but practicing in your respective field. Now, that is where people think that, oh, but you're a party member, why do you have no? SPD as in Germany, or CDU or CSU, when you go into the party system, you realize that they have affiliated bodies, recognized institutions within the party. And these institutions help the political parties to grow and also become more attractive. Now, if you look at Ghana's case, back in the days, we used to have young professionals from the MPP. It's called MPT. It was led by Alan Tramantin back then. So they came with that young business, and it was so appealing at the time that every young entrepreneur or enterprising person wanted to join the MPP through that leg. And that was what they were using to also expand their frontiers. Now, we have not had that. In the NDC, we have something called the Cadre Front. Apart from the Cadre Front, I think Proforum has become the only official affiliated entity within the party. You understand?
Back in the day, used to have Veranda Boys and Girls.
Veranda, but those were movements, but they were not affiliated. You understand? But they were recognized somewhat. But for Proforum, we have been affiliated. We pay our affiliation dues, and we also contribute to the advancement of social democracy through the NDC. And that is why Proforum has a seat at FEC, the Functional Executive Committee of the NDC, because of our affiliation dues. And we also complement the efforts of the entire party. Now, if you look at that, what it means is that when the party is looking for a pool of, say, lawyers, a pool of medical doctors, a pool of, say, teachers, a pool of, say, mechanics or engineers, let me say engineers, let me put that in that sense, or architects, they can say, oh, we have this group of people who actually know what a market is, and therefore we should be able to ask them. And that is because of the official recognition of this pool. In the past, that didn't exist. And that is why the opponents, the NPP, could say they don't have even people who have gone to school, or they don't have people who are practicing. And people were shy of calling themselves NDC members. But the last 6 years, since Proforum came to being into existence, it is very clear people are now able to showcase that I am an NDC, but I belong to Proforum. Does that make sense? It also gives us that modicum to operate, whereby people can feel affiliated with us, but not entirely hold a party card, but they believe in social democracy. So it is not out of place for a political party to give recognition to some special, I call them special movement. And we all subscribe to the same constitution of the NDC. We all do the same thing. But when it comes to the usage of skills and talent, then it becomes easier for the party to look within. You and I may know, or you and I could recognize that in the past, I think the time of Professor Mills, when Professor Mills became the president, Kufuor's appointees were still in power for a very long time. You understand? Because the government at the time had to take time to fill up those positions. He had a different perspective. But if there was a pro forum in existence, it would not have been difficult for the government to sort of make this transition easily for the government to prosecute its agenda. So for a year or so, we had MCEs working in the previous administration, still working in the NDC, and people were aghast about it. They were not happy. But today, I can tell you that our former president, who is our leader now, has said that it is going to be very easy for him to administer Ghana because of Pro Forum.
Well, before you start administering Ghana, there's an elephant in the room that you may want to chase away.
Okay.
And you probably would need to do that in December, because come December 7th, you are going to have general elections in Ghana. So
Yes.
as a party that is affiliated to the National Democratic Congress, and as a party that shares in the ideals of the National Democratic Congress, what would be your contribution, or how would you contribute to bettering the fortunes of your party in the upcoming elections?
If you're asking me to mention the strategy of the Pro Forum, I'm sorry, I can't. But you're asking me to discuss what the Pro Forum intends to do to ensure that we rescue Ghana and reset Ghana under the able leadership of President Mahama. I can give you over 200% that the Pro Forum is ever ready. Just yesterday, I was in a meeting where we were discussing. I'm not going to discuss our strategies here, but our contributions are clear. We have a representation of, we have actually set up our, what do you call it, campaign team, Pro Forum campaign team, national Pro Forum campaign team, which is also supporting the overall NDC campaign. We are going to have a regional campaign front. We want to ensure that we have a lot of professionals becoming polling agents, so that when it comes to the numbers, we'll be able to write the numbers accurately and report say to the coalition centers. So these are things I can talk about, because I think that it gets to a point, it becomes so murky that sometimes the people who are manning the election at the polling stations, sometimes because of so many reasons, it could be illiteracy, it could be pressure, it could be tension, they tend to become, they leave their job, become off-guarded. But this time, we're not going to do that. So we are training a little bit over 1,500 polling agents just to man certain polling stations. And that is something that people should be able to do. If we are saying we are professionals and want to sit in our rooms and just hope the election will be won because we have an agent at the polling station and he's going to do the job, why don't you go on the ground and do it? So for us in the UK, we have trained, or we did one training. We are going to train more of the diasporans who want to go home and join that drive to become polling agents to come. We're going to do it online. So anyway, anybody who wants to be part can come back, and not I'm advertising Pro Forum, but just that I want to put it there. So these are some of the contributions. We're also putting up a lot of resources, a lot of campaign materials, and we are putting up a lot of messages. We're putting out, and 2020 we did the same. When it came to the coalition of results and the extrapolation of the data, it was Pro Forum that led that charge. I don't know if you could remember, there's a gentleman who stood President Mahama and giving the implications of what the numbers. He is a member of the Pro Forum. So what we are saying is people should not have an antipathy towards the Pro Forum. They should rather see us as complementers so that we can all achieve the same goal. And I think if we understood ourselves well, the job to win in 2024 will be easier, or is going to be easy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, ultimately, parties do not exist to contest in elections for the sake of it.
Exactly.
They exist to contest in elections with the sole aim and purpose of winning those elections and going on to govern. So I'm sure we are quite confident that your party is going to probably win the upcoming elections, which means that
Inshallah.
the next which means that the next step of duty, which is much more important than the elections itself, which is governance, is going to come to the fore. In that regard, how would the profile be of resource to a future NDC government should NDC win the next elections?
Yeah, thank you. I think the beginning of our conversation, I did say that we have a pool of talent, and I am not an appointing officer, so don't quote me that way. And I don't have the mind of President Mahama now. But if you remember what happened some few weeks or days ago, when the outdoor of 27th of was the 12th of April, it was when Professor Jenana was adored. Our national chairman and our flag bearer made a case that we should work to win the governance of the country, or to win the elections, if you want to put it so. And that is what I think the focus is. But as to who is going to do what, I believe the leadership of the party knows that if they are looking for a special purpose individuals or vehicles to help the government run smoothly, you cannot, of course, discount the effort of the professionals, because a lot of rot has happened in this government, this and other government, and it will take professionals to uncover them and make sure we prosecute the issues that may be. When you listen to the speech that was delivered by our vice presidential candidate, Professor Jenana Ajiman, she made it clear that the government will make sure that they bring justice to the people who have been harmed by the mismanagement of this MPP administration. In other words, say that the government will pursue the wrongdoers. You understand? And you can't do that without the use of the legal luminaries, the experts in the field of financial engineering, and what have you. So, yes, I'm sure any recognized member of the Pro Forum will have a role to play. But let's look at the winning of the election first. I always say to people that let's work together to win the election. Once you have the power, the rest is history.
All right. So before we move to the history part of it, I'm sure that there are people who are watching us, people who are listening to us. We would like to probably run up this part, this segment on profile. If there are people who are watching us who have heard you and they are impressed by the profile and would want to be members of the profile, how can they get to be members of the profile?
Yes, we have a website. I think it's the NDC Professionals Forum.org officially, which is a global one, and you can register through that and select which country you reside in. Those of us in Ghana we have 16 regional presidents. So myself and Arnold are the regional president for UK, USA, and we have a regional president for Canada as well. And we have representation in Japan, China, and even Nigeria. So those of us in the diaspora. So yes, there's that NDC Professional Forum.org. Or in other words, people can reach out to the studio and send their contact details, and I'm happy to pick it from there and talk to them. We are actually bringing ProForum to Europe. We don't have Europe yet, so I was tasked to work with some identifiable groups in Germany, in Belgium, and in fact, the Belgians are doing well. We are just about getting there, Italy and other places. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation with people from Europe because we are the Brexiteers. So yes, there's that opportunity. I'm sure if they send a message through your channels on Facebook and say they would like to join the pro and they want my contacts or contact, you can do us that honor by exchanging that contact for us. And you can also reach out to us on social media. I think everything is out there. If you put NEC Professional Forum, that comes up. But we have made technology part of our work. So it doesn't matter where you live. Even if you are the only person living in Luxembourg and you want to join ProForum, I'm sure we'll find a place for you to bring your expertise. What we are looking for is people with experience, people who believe that their expertise can make a significant contribution so that we can win the election and also help help President Mahama govern the nation.
Wonderful. So if you are a professional, no matter which part of the world you are in, and you are watching us or you are listening to us, these are the various avenues that you can reach out so that you can become a member of ProForum. And actually, if you are also interested in setting up a branch in your country, you can reach out through these avenues, and they would help you do that. So we would allow Mr. Ken, Mr. Johnson, some time to sip in some of the British tea while we take some messages from our listeners and our viewers, and then we join him later, so very soon, so that we can talk about other things as they happen in Ghana. So let's take some messages from our viewers. Fans TV is a powerful personality on the show you are watching from Aflao in the Volta region. Thank you very much, Fans TV, for doing the watching as always. Frima Oye, you say Ghana and the NDC is blessed with knowledgeable personalities, and you are watching from Mansi Nia Hu. Thank you very much, Frima Oye, for always doing the watching as always. Odwe Tema, you say Ghanaians need MPP and Dr. Baumia beyond 8 years. Well, I'm sure that Mr. Johnson has other ideas about that. Frempong Bafi, you say, please kindly ask him if they also have ICT professionals among them, because that is what the NDC need going into election 2024. And are watching from Akuse near Somenya. Thank you very much, Frempong. We'll put that question to him when he's back. Achampo and Estina, you are marketing your products. We would find the appropriate venue for that. Okay. NDC Diaspora Union say greetings, comrades. Thank you very much for the wonderful work you are doing for our great party and JDM, and you are watching on YouTube from Amsterdam, Holland. Thank you very much for always doing the watching. Asempahine Buachi. Good evening, Asempahine Buachi. You say you are watching and listening from Achimai. Please allow him to speak a bit about the 24-hour economy. Well, with the appetite that people have about 24-hour economy, one of these days we are going to have a show fully dedicated to the 24-hour economy so that we can exploit in all its detail. Jaframa TV, you say, good evening. Your guest is really very eloquent and knowledgeable. Of course, he is eloquent and knowledgeable, and that is why we brought him, so that he can educate and enlighten us. Jaframa TV, again, you say you are watching from Rara in OT region, OT region. Thank you very much, Jaframa TV, for doing the watching. Kweku Ivo, you say you are watching from Sukhum in the eastern region, I think. They should also adopt some branches and constituencies. Thank you very much, Kwekuyivu, for the suggestion. Tom Nutako, Uncle Tom, good evening to you. You say you are watching from Billyville and enjoying the program. Thank you very much for doing the watching. We're very happy that you've been able to join us. Lady Mal _2, you say we need to come together as Ghanaians to save Ghana. And you're watching us on Twitch from Kosovo and you love our show. Thank you very much, Lady Mal _2, for watching on Twitch. We are very happy to have you join us today. Sekapa family, you say you are watching with your family from Jumapu near Koforidiwa live on YouTube. Thank you very much for always doing the watching. We are grateful that you are able to make time to join us. Kwesi Nsia, I love your guest for today. I can listen to him for more hours without being bored. Wonderful. Greetings from Aglota in Koforidiwa. Thank you very much, Kwesi, for your message and for doing the watching as always. Mavis Boateng, you say, comrade, good job you are doing for our party. You are watching on YouTube from Lisbon, Portugal. Thank you very much, Mavis. Good evening to you, and thank you for doing the watching as always. Nana Tafremu, good evening to you and a couple of northern Tatali. You say greetings from Tatali, Northern Ghana and Sakina Information Center listeners. Thank you to you and thank you to all the listeners of Sakina Information Center for joining us. Robert Kimpe, you say you are watching from Paris, France. You say you are very proud to be an NDC member. Great show today. Thank you very much, Robert Kimpe, for always doing the watching and always joining us. Kwame Yawoi, popular tea seller. Good evening to you. You say you love our show and you are watching from Nkwanta in Uti region. And of course, you are the popular tea seller in the Nkwanta Lorry station. We know. We are happy that you are able to join us every day. You are also live on Adelema Community Information Center in Tutu Penny in KJB. Thank you very much to you for doing the watching and the listening as always, and thank you to all the listeners on Adelema Information Center, always listening to us and watching us anytime we are live on air, and we are grateful for that. Yes, thank you very much for joining us. If you just joined, this is MyView show on Today Ghana News TV, and you are listening to us on Sakina Information Center in Northern Ghana, Teteli, we say a very warm thank you. We say a warm thank you to our listeners on Adelema Community Information Center as well, and we also say a warm welcome to our listeners on High FM 3.7 in Achuhima in the Eastern region, and also a warm thank you to our listeners on the Kings FM in Accra, and to all our viewers on social media, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Twitch, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and on any network that you are joining us from. We say thank you for joining us, and we hope that you are enjoying the show. So we return to our guest for today, Mr. Ken Johnson. Mr. Ken Johnson is the chairman of NDC Pro Forum in the UK, Ireland, and we are happy that he has joined us today to give us some education on his organization and the work that they are doing. Welcome back, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, and thanks for having me once more. I like your questions and your commendation from your viewers. That's encouraging.
Well, one of our viewers wanted us to ask whether you have IT professionals because the NDC needs IT professionals in the upcoming elections. They wanted to know whether you have IT professionals as well.
Yes, I mean, I picked up on that. I think I can assure I didn't write the name down. Sorry for that, but yes, we have. In fact, I in the past used to be part of the ICT group for the professional forum, and we have a directorship for that, or directorate for that sector. Now we sort of set up our own coalition center in 2020, and I think in the beginning of things I told you what some of our members did. And going forward, we have a robust system going into the elections. So we are not going to leave any stone unturned. Let that questionnaire be aware that we have them. And if he or she has an interest in that and has an experience or expertise in that area and want to join, is welcome to join us. And we want to hear from them what their expertise will be, just to complement each other and make sure we can win successfully. But we are not going to make those mistakes in the past. So we are simulating every piece of information and ensuring that the results we will get will be real time and is going to be the exact information that the Ghanaian people have given us and want us to run with. Yes.
Well, Frimpong Bafi, you wanted to know, so I'm hopeful that your question have been answered. Asempa Hine Boachi, 24-hour economy. As I promised, one of these days we are going to have a dedicated show for only 24-hour economy. Maybe Mr. Johnson will probably want to have a short bite on it, but I promise that one of these days we are going to have a dedicated show only for that, so that we can have time to go through every segment, every part of it. Yeah. So, Mr. Johnson, if you would want to take a very quick bite on it, just something small on the 24-hour economy, and then we conclude. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you once more. I think that Ghanaians have appreciated the challenge we have with the economy now. And the presentation made by President Mahama at the TUC was accepted by and large by everybody. People in the business and even the ordinary Ghanaians, they could see that there's a benefit in it. What we're talking about, we're talking about increasing productivity. Now, you tell me that you want to get passport, for instance. The number of, and the turnaround, the average turnaround for a passport should be 2 weeks. People have queued for months, they haven't got it. The Ghana card, public service has an average turnaround in terms of delivering that service for 2 weeks. Where you sit and where I sit, we know that I don't need to go to Bonn, or you don't need to go to Bonn, Berlin to get things done. You understand? I don't need to move to London I don't live in London anyway, to get things done. But it's only in Ghana that everything has to be in Accra. You understand? Everything has to be in Accra. So President Mahama is saying that, look, we want to ensure that our public service delivery becomes productive. So we are going to have a seamless communication systems in place so that the delivery of public service can be enhanced. Just like medical care, just like education, just like when you want to order item on your phone, you should be able to get in the next 24 hours or in the next 3 days. This is what Amazon is showing. So if a private company can provide that services, then why can't a nation help that leverage to happen? You understand? People are saying, oh, we have been electrification. No, utility service is only 24 hours because it is utility, and that is not. But what we can do is to create that efficiency system in place so that waste can be managed. And that is what 24 hours is about. We are talking about real-time delivery. We are talking about economic growth so that individuals who want to aspire, young people like Befi, who has a question, maybe he's an entrepreneur or something. He needs to come to Accra before he can get some job done. But he could be in his little village with good internet and sort out contracts here and there. And that is what better entrepreneurship is about. You understand? So the essence is creating that connectivity between government services, public service, private sector, so that business can thrive. We can have some services delivered in the evenings as well. Not only that, 9 to 5. Sometimes you go and you want to do something in Accra and ministries and so you're best signing at the end of the or coffee clock. And the next day you go, oh, this person has not even returned to work. So it will take you months just for a signature so you can move to the next phase of that process. So the 24-hour economy is going to happen, and it's also going to create a lot of jobs in the manufacturing sector, in the agro-business sector, in our trade, in the transport sector, so that life can move on. And that is the only and but surest way that we can actually get the economy working again.
Okay, so I think let's take this comment from one of our listeners, and then we go to the last stage. One of our regular listeners, Osei Superior, he says, please kindly ask Brother Johnson if they have a branch in Spain. He lives in Barcelona.
At the moment, no, but he can send his contact to me and or to you, and then you can exchange that link, and we will have that conversation. So far as there's an NDC a branch there or somewhat, should be able to pull up that conversation going. And let me also use the opportunity to say that I think I gave us the website, which is the ndcprofessionals.org. You can get a lot of connectivity there. Or if you want to send a private email to the NDC UK, it is ndcproforum uk@gmail.com. But I'm sure if we can connect with you, we can exchange that conversation and we'll be able to take it forward. Yes.
Yeah. So, please drop a message in our socials. We would reach out to you, and then we'll take it over from there. Okay. Good. So, Mr. Johnson,
Yes,
since we have you today, there are some things that we cannot gloss over. You and I are sitting here. We are enjoying power 24 hours. I'm not sure when the power trips in the UK where you sit.
I've never seen
Well, I think I had experience in Germany where the power tripped for a few seconds.
Yes.
And the following day, I have no idea where they got our contact from, but everybody, for a few seconds, and it came back on. Everybody got an apology from the state. And I'm sure some people, I heard some people actually got compensation, but this was not even up to a minute. Now, back home in Ghana, the president said during his most recent State of the Nation address that irrespective of the challenges, they have been able to keep the power on. Now, fast forward to 1st May this year, he announced during the May Day celebration that there had been power challenges, but that the power challenges are over, and that Ghanaians are going to have stable power from now moving forward, and that there will be no power supply challenges. What do you know about this situation? Let's keep it at that. What's your information as far as the power situation in Ghana is concerned?
I think it's sad, in this day and age, a country after 64 years, our conversation should have been how we can enhance learning and training, ensuring that we are bringing the unemployment situation further downwards, and we are giving our young people that information to be aspired or meeting the aspirations. That is not possible. What we have now here is Dumso, Pasco, no water. I mean, it surprises you. Just this afternoon, somebody called me from my hometown and he said, "Oh, we haven't had water for the past 2 weeks because they say there's a water crisis. So we need to use." I'll come to the Dimsor thing, but I want you to see the situation where it is like. Uh, we have to buy pure water, which is a sachet, cut it, boil it before you can drink, or the same pure water, you pour it into your bucket and go and have a shower. So people are, for want of a better expression, not having bath or not bathing at all, if you want to call it. So this person called because he knows that my home there, I have a poly tank, and since there's nobody living there, and I only have one person living in that place, maybe there will be some reserves of water, so you can go and fetch. So I said, why do I say, oh, I just want to go and fetch couple, and because they've got a family. I said, well, I have to call and see if there's water there because you haven't had water. It is not only water crisis we are faced with, but we also have Dumso. And what is Dumso? The Dumso is the unregulated power outages that we have now. Today, you have it for 3 hours. The next 24 hours, you can even have it for 2 hours. The next day, you might not even have it at all, if you're not lucky. And if a president can look into the eyes of the Ghanaian public and say that the crises have been solved, how did it get solved? If it was solved, why would it a day before the civil societies were calling for the minister to sanction a timetable for doing so? So it tells you that we have a president who is bereft of the realities, or it's just like much as I do, doesn't want to care about anybody's feeling. It's all about him, his cronies, and his family. As for him, where he sits, he will never see Dumso. His family members at Achim will never see Dumso. There's no way they will shut their lights out. But you and I, the peasant ones, trying to survive, we will suffer. The amount of people who have suffered from this Dumso because their televisions have gone bad or their refrigerators have gone bad is counting and is still rising. That is not government or governance. Governance is about assuring people with the public service. That is what governance is about. Governance is ensuring that you create that enabling environment for people to aspire, to meet their aspirations. We don't have that. But yet they are doing politics. Baumia flies everywhere, begging that he won the steer. And the so-called person he wants to make him his vice is the man managing Dumso. Now, if you don't know darkness, can't you see Dumso too and think that this is a doom that we are going to have in the future if we have these people as our the next government? You understand? So the crisis is sporadic. It is unacceptable. We cannot continue this way and think that Ghana would get anywhere. It pities me that now you can go to hospitals, and even hospitals, electrification have been cut off because they say they are owing. It is sad. What about the children who are in the secondary schools? Already they are rationing food. They are struggling to even eat. And now you don't give them water. You don't give them electricity. How would they learn? And so if you're a parent, you become worried. That is the seriousness of this matter.
But Mr. Justin, they're giving them tablets to use.
That is another avenue for create and share. We know these are corrupt people. These people have never thought of any good thing for you. If they did, they would have by now reviewed their own flagship policy of the free SHS. Today, if you say review, they say, I can't come to cancel it. How does review become a cancellation? And you see, Baumia, I always say Baumia has never suffered before. He had opportunity to go and do his degree at Buckinghamshire University. Buckinghamshire University is one of the private universities in the United Kingdom. It's a private university. It's not a state-run university. You understand? So everybody who is there paid school fees. UK will pay school fees, all right. But you pay at the premium fees. You don't pay a subsidized fees. Just like in Germany, just like Spain and anywhere else. So Baumia had the opportunity at the expense of Ghanaians to come and study He had his degree in economics. And don't forget those days, I don't know, maybe some of your listeners will appreciate this. Those days, Wikipedia was a flagship thing. So people could easily allow students to copy from Wikipedia and make a research paper and then say they are passed. Because he went to a private school, you understand? I just now that Wikipedia is not acceptable. So Baumia had his degree from plagiarism. He had his master's, similarly same. And now he's a PhD holder, and all he does is to go on Wikipedia and see what is the next topic that people are talking about, trending issues. Then he runs around the country talking that he's an expert of nothing. He talks plenty. He can't even so. But I can't understand this, my brother. You know, because Alex, if you really want to lead a country, this will be your test case that, oh, now let's deal with this matter now, here and now, so that people can have confidence in you. He went to Kumasi. You could see how the people were booing him. This has never happened before. A vice president that is being booed. And we have the president also saying he will not leave power for somebody. That ones, I don't even want to talk about it. You know, the matter before us is Dumso is destroying businesses. Dumso is killing.
We would have wanted you to touch on another thing. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. And as I said, we probably need another forum, just as your professional forum, so that, you can come and engage us more, and we can have a dialogue. And as I said in our introduction, our aim this year is to give people as much information as possible. Exactly. So that come December 7th, when they cast their votes, they don't cast it based on ignorance. They cast it based on informed decisions, information that they have, so that they can make the best decisions that they can make for their own future and the future of people yet unborn. But before we let you go, what do you have any message that you would want to final message you want to give to our listeners and our viewers?
Yeah, thank you. I just want to say it's been an honor coming on your show. I've never been before, but I've enjoyed it. And I think the comments, the questions, the education we are giving to your listenership is great. And I think we should encourage that conversation to go forward. But I just want to let people know that the second coming of President Mahama is going to be a stellar. It's going to be a game changer. It's going to make people aspire to reach out to their own dreams. It is going to make that Ghanaian dream also possible. If we haven't had one before, things can happen. It is going to give us that opportunity to manage our affairs with reason and also with the moral standards governing it. And I think that if anybody wanted to join a pro forum, as I mentioned, we have the ndcprofessionals.org. You can go through that website, or they should link up on Facebook with your channel or on YouTube and send their details, and we'll be able to connect. We are raising professionals, we are raising standards so that 2025 going, Ghana will be a country that everybody have dreamt of. And I thank you all for the time that you've given to me. Thank you.
Well, the thanks is yours, and we are very grateful that you have been able to make time this evening to join us and to have this discussion with us. Maybe if you hang around afterwards, if we take some further comments that are coming in, you would get to you would get to see that our listeners they really appreciated your presentation this evening. Okay, yeah, there we go. Kim Pezeru _1, you say, this is my number one informative network from Ghana. Please kindly repeat the show again. We want to hear more from this Mr. Johnson guy. Okay, he's Mr. Ken Johnson. He should be part of the national communications team, and he's watching on Twitch from St. Petersburg in Russia. Thank you very much, Mr. Ken. As I told you, these are some of the comments that are coming in for you. Sam Johnson, you say you are watching from Wiesbaden. in Germany. Good work. Thank you very much, Sam Johnson, for doing the watching. Ghana Himfi, you say good evening, and you are watching and listening from Bosuso in Frantiaqua South District. Please, do they also consider farmers and women as also professionals? When we get Mr. Ken back next time, we would put that question to him. Okay, the next one, we have Patience Darko. Good evening, Patience, for always joining us. Say good evening, and you are watching from Hamburg, Germany. Thank you very much, Patience, for joining us. So, we say a very big thank you to Mr. Johnson. As I said, as judging from the comments, our viewers are very appreciative of the information and education that you have given them. And judging from the comments, it's not out of place to say that there is a part 2 of this conversation loading, and that very soon.
Always available. Always available.
Yes, depending on the availability of Mr. Johnson, we would get him
and
back.
I think just before we go, if I can say one thing, yes, we have farmers amongst us. We have, I mean, this is commercial farmers are available. They're all professionals because they are in the agronomics sector. So yes, let's just link up and we can take the conversation forward. And Wiesbaden, it's where I have a good friend from Wiesbaden, so I'll say hello to him. I know them very well. Yes, thank you.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Joseph, for joining us. We wish you a very nice evening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for the education.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you very much to our viewers and listeners for joining us. As always, we say a very big thank you to our viewers and Sakina Information Center in Tatali, Northern Ghana. Also, a thank you to our listeners in High FM 30.7 in Achimima in the Eastern region. Also, thank you to our listeners on the King's Radio in Accra. And we say thank you to all our listeners and viewers on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, on Instagram, on LinkedIn for joining us and for being part of the conversation. We'll come away again next week with another informative, another educative program. And so stay tuned, stay blessed. And as we always say, God bless you. God bless our homeland, Ghana. Stay blessed. Have a good evening.
The country where I come from, the truth is irony. Just like animal farm, justice mean inequity. So who go say the truth? Who go say the truth?